Morning, guys. Morning, everyone. Good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Decimus, and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empath free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-development. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share this video with your friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. So guys, in this video today, we're going to talk about energy vampires. So a lot of you guys have been hearing this term making rounds. Energy vampires, you've been hearing about these kind of people who are like the energy drainers. So those are the guys who are basically after your fuel, you know what I mean? And so to understand energy vampires, first of all, I want to make something very clear that most of the times, these particular individuals, first of all, on a spiritual perspective, these are individuals, they're extremely on a low vibration. So for these individuals to survive, and we're going to go into the details of why I'm saying this, but for them to survive, normally, they have got to be around people with a very high energy. So they have got to be around people who are like on a very high vibration, people who are doing well for themselves, who have got a lot of things, who have got it all together. And it so happens that normally a lot of us individuals, of course, including me early in my days, have come across a lot of them kind of people. And in those days, it didn't used to make a lot of sense to me. So I didn't used to know why was I with certain individuals, and all of a sudden I would feel very bad about myself. Sometimes you end up, so this could have been sometimes relationships, or sometimes this could be friendships, but also energy vampires can manifest in your own families, the families that you guys have been born into. So you find that you might have been with sometimes a parent, and that parent has been like usually feeding off your energy without you having noticed, without you having noticed. So they could have been just feeding off your energy. Your own parents, your own mothers, fathers, brothers and sisters, especially if you have been involved with those kind of families that are not making a lot of sense. A lot of those families that are involved with a lot of toxicity within them. And sometimes it could have been your own personal friend, your best friend. They could have been feeding off your energy without you actually knowing it for a very long period of time. And again, it could also have been a relationship partner. Sometimes you have been having like intimate connections with them. You've been sleeping with them. You've been doing all these little things with them. So in this video, I'm going to let you guys know exactly how to know that you have been with an energy vampire, and actually you have indeed lost a very big significant amount of energy without you even knowing it. First of all, guys, you have to understand, remember, as long as you are a person who is radiating love, you're on a very high frequency. So a lot of you guys are empaths, chosen ones out there, you're empaths. And usually, without you knowing it, whether you know it or you don't know it, you radiate a very high frequency, and you are a very beautiful being of light. Now, usually what happens is that kind of energy, it also draws a lot of people on a very low vibration, on a very low frequency. Sometimes they're doing it subconsciously. Sometimes they don't know why all of a sudden they're just gravitating towards you. But intuitively, they just know that somehow or somewhere they're going to benefit from you. So you know what I mean? They may come in sometime for physical gains, spiritual gains, material gains, emotional gains. So there's a lot of things when it comes to energy vampires. There's so many reasons and a lot of things that they can always take from you. So when they come to you, those guys, all of a sudden, the first thing you're going to notice is that when they're around you, now you guys, I want you to listen very, very closely to this one. When you ever meet an energy vampire, any moment they come into your proximity, into your vicinity, if they're your partners, all of a sudden they open the door, they come into the house, they come in at home, you are going to notice that for some reason you are very, very uncomfortable being around them. Now this one is going to be very obvious, because the very moment they open the door and they just all of a sudden step into the house or things like that, you're going to notice that actually there is something you feel within your body. So it's like you feel a heaviness, a very heaviness in your body, around you, your aura, and you're going to become very, very irritated when they're in your presence. And you're going to notice that you are also avoiding them at some point. You're going to notice every time they try to sit with you, they try to sit next to you, they try to, like make a conversation with you, try to do one or two things with you, you're going to feel very, very uncomfortable, and sometimes you don't want even to be in their presence. So sometimes you might have found yourself doing making excuses like, you might have been with them and all of a sudden you just stood up and you went onto the kitchen, so you went to the bathroom, or sometimes you went to, you made an excuse to go to the bedroom to have a nap or things like that. So you will notice that actually whenever you're around these individuals, for some reason, because of the energy they carry, it is very uncomfortable for you to be with them and you don't want to stay around them. So you may sometimes find yourself making an excuse to leave them. And actually, I've got a comment earlier on in my journey when I was doing one of the videos. I remember I did a video one time, and one of the subscribers asked, "Why is it that every time that particular individual came around, they noticed that actually their presence was irritating them? So it's like they didn't want, for some reason. I don't know what it's like, but it's like the empath somehow intuitively they know something is wrong, something is off with those individuals, and somehow." When those guys show up, they come around, the empaths, sometimes they're standing up and leaving that vicinity. So they are like making all kinds of excuses to stay away from them. Sometimes they're running off to the kitchen, they run off to the bedroom, take a nap. They run off sometimes to the shops. So whenever you find yourself in a situation that a particular individual, you feel very, very uncomfortable being around them, you have got to know those individuals. Those are energy vampires, and they're actually feeding off your energy. So it is a way of like a spiritual defensive mechanisms that you guys have, that somewhere intuitively, spiritually, on a spiritual level that there is something off with them. And whenever you're with them, you feel some kind of a way, you don't want to be close to them, or you don't want to sometimes interact with them. It's one of the signs, guys, you have to look for, that actually an individual is an energy vampire, and usually when they're around you, they're actually stealing your energy. And most of these cases, this is a spiritual thing that is happening, and some of the times you guys don't know it. Even some of them, they don't know what is going on, but it's some kind of a spiritual connection whereby they're around you, and all of a sudden, because of they contaminate your aura, they also, on the subliminal or the subconscious level, they're also actually feeding off and stealing your energy. Now, when it comes to relationships, this one is a very common one. So when it comes to relationships, you guys have found yourselves in a case whereby you might have had your partner, you guys go to bed, you have a nap, you go to sleep. Or sometimes you might have had situation that you guys are intimate with them. So then these might have been toxic guys you've been dating. Like we already know, we talk about narcissism or this kind of toxic people on this channel. So you guys might have been having a relationship with them, and there are those cases whereby you have there's those moments whereby you're going to be intimate with them. You get intimate with them. Sometimes you sleep with them, and for some reason, after sleeping with them, you're going to notice. It is like you're making love to a rock or something like that. You're making love to an object. So when I'm talking about energy vampires, I'm talking about beings that are actually soulless. These individuals, they don't have a soul. You know what I mean? They do have a soul, but this is a very corrupted soul. And it's actually their inner spirit doesn't exist. So it's like they're just moving objects. You know what I mean? So normally what they do, because of that, they have got to satisfy their inner demons with using other individuals. So you guys you've heard us always talking about people that they call the potential sources of supply. So they have to feed off other people for them to feel alive, to operate and to feel alive and to carry on with their life. So you sleep with them, you get intimate with them, you go to bed with them, you have sex with them, and all of a sudden you feel as if you're making love to an object. So it's like the person you're making love to doesn't exist. You cannot, for some reason, connect with them on an emotional level. It's like you're making love to them, but you just feel like an object. Making love. If you're a man out there, you're sleeping with one of the energy vampires, you're going to feel like you're making love to an object. So the person you're making love to is not there in the first place. It is a very dry kind of thing. It's like on a spiritual level, it's very hard to explain. But for most of you guys who have been with them, you know what I'm talking about, because you make love with those individuals and you feel like you're making love to an empty object. The person you're making love with doesn't exist in the first place. And again, at the end of the day, after that sexual encounter or intimate encounter, you're also going to notice that those individuals, it's like for some reason they are feeling very, very happy and highly energized. So it's like you have put all your energy into them. You know what I mean? It's like after the sexual act or things like that, they have automatically sucked all your energy out of your body. And for some reason you're feeling soulless. You're feeling almost like a dead rock. It's like you're thinking about that incident. You're like, sometimes even I've heard about cases where people have made love to those kind of individuals, and they've ended up regretting it at the end of the incident. You start being regretful. You're regretting that incident. Why have you slept with them? because it's like you feel from the inner soul, from the inner of your soul, you feel like you've just given off a very big chunk of your energy to somebody else, and you don't even know sometimes where your energy has gone. So that is a sign for you as well that you guys, you have been involved with an energy vampire, that encounter, whatever it is. Sometimes even if it's a one night stand or things like that, if you guys have had those kind of cases whereby you've slept with those kind of individuals, it could have been a one night stand, but still you're going to notice that you've lost a very huge chunk amount of a chunk of your energy, and you're feeling like lifeless. It's like there's no life in you after those incidents, and of course it's going to take you a lot of time, a good amount of time for you to regenerate and refuel and re-energize yourself and to get your energy back. Because like you guys already know, the empaths, they know how to regenerate their energy and how to get themselves back in shape. The third incident that is going to show you guys that you are actually sleeping or involved, or you are with an energy vampire and those guys are feeding off your energy, is the situation whereby you're going to have a conversation with those individuals. So whichever conversation you have with them, you're going to notice that for some reason, it's like you're regretting that conversation. You might have started up a subject, of course, like you guys already know, sometimes you have a friend and you want to talk about different things, you know what I mean? You're with them and you want to talk about different things. So you're talking to those guys, and then at the end of the conversation, and then you're going to notice that somewhere in the middle of the conversation, a very peaceful conversation is going to now turn into an argument. So out of nowhere, you guys are going to start arguing in the middle of the conversation. So you say one or two or three words, or maybe 10 words, and then it's like in the middle of the conversation, you guys are going to now start to gravitate into some kind of an argument. All of a sudden, you're going to start to argue for no apparent reason. You have got to know that those individuals, anything you exchange with them, whether it is sexually, whether it is just sitting next to them, whether it is verbally, you're just talking to them, even sometimes by the mere sight of them, you are going to notice every time you get into contact with those individuals, they are stealing your energy. So when you're doing a conversation, and all of a sudden you see the conversation is going west, there's starting to be an argument, you guys all of a sudden you started very well and everything was okay, then all of a sudden you guys started to fight from nowhere, argue from nowhere, you start to shout and exchange words with those kind of individuals. And again, this doesn't matter, they can even be your own partners. You are starting to argue with your partners for no apparent reason. You have got to know the people. You are dealing with an energy vampire, and during the exchange, the communication you're having with them, the fights you're having with them during the conversations, they are actually on a very much subconscious level. They are actually stealing your energy. The fourth way I'm going to let you guys know that actually you're dealing with an energy vampire is when you guys might have been, and again, this does not matter. This can be a situation whereby you guys are in a relationship together. You have a very close, intimate relationship together, or sometimes they're your friends or things like that. But for some reason, you go to sleep. They are in your vicinity. They could have slept in your house in that night. They could have slept in your home, or sometimes they could have slept with you. That's in the case whereby those guys have been intimate partners as well. So when you go to sleep, you're going to notice that in the night, you're going to have nightmares. Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. I've had this thing many times over and over again, and I want to give you guys the confirmation in this video that when you go to sleep and you know that you're with somebody, that person probably you're having a lot of red flags going on. It's like every now and then you're doubting those kind of individuals. It is your soul actually speaking to you. Your spirit guides, your angels are telling you that that person in your vicinity, that person is an energy vampire, and they're soulless. And the only reason why they're with you is just to feed off your energy and to steal your energy. So you have got a lot of nightmares. There are bad dreams going on in the night. You don't know why all of a sudden you wake up in the morning, you are drained. Sometimes you go to sleep and you're dreaming all kinds of beasts and all kinds of animals that you've never seen before, all sorts of demons, all sorts of things. So when you go to sleep in the night, remember these individuals, they're on a very low vibration, and most of the cases, those individuals, they're also running around and operating with entities. So in most of the cases, when you get into contact with them, you also become part of the game, because now those entities, now they are using your energy to survive. You know what I mean? So through those individuals, like I've said, those guys, they're just a vessel. So the entities now are using the guys as a vessel so that those entities can survive. So all these things that are happening on a subconscious level. But of course, like I've said, your mind is going to speak to you in the night, in the middle of the night. You're going to wake up. Sometimes you might have a nightmare. You end up all of a sudden waking up out of a dream, and it's like people are chasing you. There is things following you. There's some kind of animals that you've never seen before. Those kind of beasts, things that the naked eye cannot see and has never seen. So you're going to see those things in the dream appear and manifest in your dreams, whereby you're going to notice For some reason, you're waking up in the middle of the night. Sometimes you're sweating, you've been running, you're tired. It's like you don't have any energy within you. It is a very clear sign, people, that you're actually dealing with an energy vampire, and those individuals, they are sapping off and feeding off your energy. So another way that I can let you to let you know that you are dealing with an energy vampire is when you're with those kind of individuals, and for some reason it's like your life has come to a standstill. For a standstill, is it a standstill? How do they call that? So your life has come to a halt. Your life has come to a halt. It's like nothing going on. There's nothing going on. Everything you're trying to put your hands to, it doesn't matter. You might have had your plans before you met those individuals. You might have had a lot of plans for yourself. You want to go continue your studies. You want to maybe do your driver's license. You want to purchase your own house. You want to buy a new car. But for some reason, whenever you're with those individuals, you notice also that all your plans you're doing, whatever it is you're trying to do, it cannot come into fruition. It is nothing you can do will ever succeed. So whatever project you've been doing, that project has come to a still. It's like for some reason there's always a blockage somewhere. It's like the schools have refused to accept your applications. It's like your driving license is halfway in the middle. It's like you cannot finish your driver's license. It's like you cannot even apply for your own passports. It's like there's nothing you can do. Your life has come to a halt. You have got to know that is a very, very clear sign, guys. You have got to look around you and see some of the things that you want to achieve and you try to pursue and you want to achieve for yourself. And most of those things are not coming to fruition. So there's a very big energetic blockage going on because you're dealing with, again, it comes back to the energy vampires. You're dealing with people who are soulless. And it is like whenever you're around them, it is like a lot of things happen to stop. These things just cease and come to a halt. There's nothing going on for you. So a lot of you guys, I've had a lot of you guys, of course, I've experienced this along my journey, whereby I have excused myself from a lot of these guys, energy vampires. I remember in the beginning, I'll give you guys a very clear example. So in the beginning, when I was starting this YouTube channel, so there were so many people I was involved with. There were many people I was talking to, and then I noticed that for some reason, actually, most of those individuals, whenever I was getting involved with them, it's like my growth was a little bit stagnant. It's like I was not moving to the next level, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when I started to become aware and to get more awakened to this energy thing and everything, and understanding people for who they really are, so that's when I started to cut off a lot of people from my life and discard a lot of people and take them out of my life. And guys, I can guarantee you that the moment I took that decision to start taking out and plugging people out of my life, that is exactly when I started to experience growth. And from that day, I've never really experienced a lot of blockages. Of course, apart from the easy little things here and there, there's no major blockages because I've really eliminated a lot of people that I feel or sometimes I suspect were actually feeding off my energy. I've eliminated them from my life, and that is exactly how I've become that person I am today, because now I can do the things I want to do. I can go where I want to go. I can make my own personal decisions, and those decisions are made according to guidance from my higher self. So my higher self will tell me where I need to go, what I need to do, who I need to bring into my life, who I need to get involved with. So a lot of you guys, this video is for you guys, chosen ones out there. You might be wondering why all of a sudden these things are not working out, why all of a sudden you guys are losing your energy, why all of a sudden you're going to sleep and you're dreaming all kinds of bad dreams and nightmares. Things are happening in the night. You don't know, you feel like things are chasing you. You're looking around you and you're seeing a lot of shadows going up and down in your house. You don't know where the shadows are coming from. That is simply because you're involved with a person with a very low frequency, and that person, they're carrying around very negative spirits, and sometimes even on the worst case scenario, they're walking around with demons. And so sometimes because you're involved with them and you're in their proximity, those demons are actually manifesting in your physical reality, and you're seeing them sometimes even around your house. Now, I'll give you guys a last example. The time I was involved with the narcissist, and I'll give you one very clear example that I knew that actually there was something wrong. It was a very, very big red flag that I was dealing with an energy vampire. So I was watching a movie, and in the movie there was this building. So this, like, people were walking in the building. You know what I mean? I think it was a film. This was actually on the computer, on the laptop. And for some reason, it's like I went into some kind of a paralysis. You know, like sometimes you're lying down and you're watching a movie or something like that, then you go into some kind of a paralysis. And all of a sudden, the next thing I saw is like a dark object was in the movie. The guys, this is even very freaky and very, very scary actually. I'm looking back and I'm starting to understand what was going on. So I looked on the screen, and then somewhere in the buildings, in the corridors of the house, I saw particularly, I practically saw a dark object moving across the buildings. You know what I mean? Crossing from the corridor, moving from one room to another. So I asked that particular individual, actually, have you seen that thing? Have you seen that thing that has been moving in the back? That person told me, oh, you know what? I didn't see anything, but you can rewind and let's see if we can figure out anything. We rewinded that particular scene, and the object was nowhere to be seen. So a lot of these events have happened along your journey when you've been dealing with those kind of very, very dangerous, toxic individuals. Those are the things you're going to experience and the things you have seen. And guys, that being said, this video can't get any longer than this. Let me know, guys, if you have dealt with one of them guys we're talking about. What has been your experience? And until then, guys, much love and blessings. Leave us a comment in the section below. Catch you in my next one, and peace.